Welcome to the Bradshaw Boys, a podcast where three guys are watching romantic comedies. I'm Cory Cavin.
My name is Jon Sieber.
And we are here for part two.
Patreon.
Of Lucifer Wears Fashion.
Lucifer wears Kirkland's signature.
What's Cthulhu Wears Crocs.
Dude,
that
is a kid's book that we need to write.
Dude, we do need to write that. Yeah. Cthulhu Wears Crocs.
Cthulhu Wears Crocs. I'm wearing Crocs right now. When I had the baby, a friend dropped these off and was like, "You need some dad Crocs," and
those are nice ones.
In the house. They're my house like slippers.
I have they're indoor outdoors. I'm not a fully shoes off house.
Okay,
like you guys are.
I
respect it.
We're mainly fully shoes off now because the baby's crawling around all the time.
Yeah, I get that.
And we did a lead test, and the guy's like, "You have a ton of lead at the entrance of your house. Like everyone tracks in lead from outside." So we're like, might as well just be shoes off house.
That's totally makes sense.
Yeah.
This
is a podcast on how we keep our homes now. So buckle up. Thanks for the Patreon money.
Welcome to the Condo Cast, the Marie Kondo Cast. We're going to talk about the things that are sparking joy by taking them out of our homes and how we keep our houses. No, I like those Crocs. I got some the EVA foam Birks.
Okay, nice.
It's kind of on brand because we're talking about Devil Wears Prada and Crocs.
I'm gonna come in hot. I'm gonna come in real hot right now. When I moved to New York, I was like a Croc wearer.
Really?
Like I was like, they're comfortable. I put so much weight into comfort. Like when I'm deciding what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
I've gotten huge fights with my friend Harlan Alford, friend of the pod.
Yep.
Because when I fly comfy.
Okay.
And when he flies, he dresses up. He comes from that era.
Whoa. Yeah. I've got some things about this
and I'm
too.
like, I'm a comfy person always. And so Crocs are comfy.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of very fashionable friends.
Yeah.
We have friends that work in the fashion industry that design clothes.
Melina Kemp, friend of the pod.
Yeah.
She dressed Kendrick.
She never blasted me, but our other friends blasted me for wearing Crocs 10 years ago.
Wow. And now
they're so ugly. They're so stupid. They're so dumb. You know who's wearing Crocs?
Those people.
Those same people.
Those freaking hypocrites.
They put their little pins. And you know what? Like, there's the saying, a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's where I am with fashion. Like
you're like a Croc wearer is right at least once in their life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's
totally
like every 9 years, I'm going to be wildly out of place. And then they're going to look at me and be like, oh, he's got his shit going on. And then as soon as that drops off the next season, I'm staying true to who I am.
You should.
Comfy. And I'm going to be out of fashion again.
There's a couple things about fashion that are interesting to me like that, which is like it's cyclical.
Mm-hmm.
It always comes back, albeit maybe a little bit different. But like skinny jeans, baggy jeans. Like I saw a dude wearing Jinkos the other day.
Wow.
Like, yeah, they're back. But like it's cyclical.
Is that all that it takes for something to be back is for you just to see a random person in New York wearing them?
Yeah, and then it's back. Absolutely.
Because if that's the case, there's so much shit that's back. Take one lap around Sunset Park and you'll see some shit that is back.
Well, I will say I worked on this one. I worked on this one job where it was a bunch of young photo kids. Mm-hmm. And I say kids because they're like mid-20s.
Yeah. Kids.
Freaking kids, bro. Really cool though. And it was like a thing. Like I consider myself semi-fashionable.
Yeah,
At least I understand a little bit what's happening. I don't fully buy in on stuff super hard. But
you'll rock a Morton salt coat and just like own it.
Heck yeah.
Look really freaking good in it.
Yeah, dude. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll rock that yellow coat. But with them, I was like, oh man, it's back. Like pants were way baggier, like shirts were something that I was like, this looks like a structure shirt from the 90s. Like that version of fashion. It was also funny. There was one dude who was super into Carhartts, which are pretty back.
Oh, really?
Might even be done now, but I just caught on. But it was funny. He had like double XL Carhartt stuff.
Whoa.
He looked really good in it. But we were at a hotel for the shoot, and somebody asked him. They were like, "Do you need to get to this one place?" And he was like, "No." He was like, I'm here for the film shoot. And they were like, oh, I thought you were the maintenance guy.
Ooh,
Like,
he probably loved
that's like
that.
badge of honor. Right
Yeah,
there.
no kidding.
But yeah, I think that like, I think like workwear was really back. Baggy.
So then
stuff.
what came after like 90s fashion? Like what was late 90s fashion like?
Well, late 90s fashion, I think if you think back to
Once again, the two worst people to have this conversation.
the worst people, like what would a good conversation be that we can have? Like probably stuff about like maybe, I don't know, like someone that needs to get into being like, I need to find a good tax guy.
Yeah, we could talk about how much we like our banker.
Yeah, we could be like, he's the best. Actually,
Shout out Ben.
I need to email Ben back.
Yeah,
I talked to him this morning on the phone.
We could talk about like interesting conversations we've had with mutual friends.
Totally. We could have a pretty interesting conversation about podcast boards because there's a lot of research to buy ours.
Yeah.
But fashion, we're not the best people to talk.
No.
However,
thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for being a patron.
Thank you.
We're gonna keep going. We're like tunnelers, you know. We got to just keep going.
Yeah, we just got to keep.
We got those lamps on our heads.
Yep.
We both have a pickaxe.
We
don't
know any way out of this tunnel.
We're gonna build this subway.
We have to.
Yeah,
we have to. We got to just keep going forward.
Anne Hathaway needs to get to work in 60 years, and if Cory and I don't build the subway, then she won't be able to.
She won't get there. She's not taking a cab.
She doesn't even know how to hail a cab.
She's not one of those cab girls. She wears granny panties.
Yeah. Suddenly I see. Suddenly I. Is that the lyrics?
Why the hell it means so much to me? KT Tunstall, is that who sings that song?
I don't know.
Let's see. Anyway, God,
that's such a funny thought of like, what could we have a really informed discussion about?
It is.
Here's an interesting question.
Yeah.
And it's like, you get paid $1 million, but you have to go up on stage in front of 100 people or 1,000, 10,000 people.
Yeah.
And speak for 4 hours straight with no notes or no preparation.
Wow.
What do you talk about?
I think I go full memoir. I think I just dive into it because I'll say this. I've
never heard anyone say memoir. That's so cheating.
Yeah. Because I am. If you're gonna filibuster, what do I know? I know my life.
And you know,
and you know this about me. I can rabbit trail.
You have feelings.
I got feelings.
Yeah, and you can talk about those feelings.
You know that are hard. But I think that if I had to really go up, I think I could go into feelings. But I think I go into facts. I was talking about a podcaster this week who I listened to an interview, and he was talking to someone that was like pretty smart about what he was talking about. And it was just crazy to me how the guy doing the interview just like didn't know a lot of stuff. Like they were talking, he's like a guy that like knows, you know, it like that's a pretty big following. And,
yeah.
And you know, it would be the thing where he's like, oh yeah, I never saw Beverly Hills Cop. And he's like, oh, did you see any other Eddie Murphy movies? No. Seen by him. I was like, how did you never see any movie by him?
Not even Shrek?
Exactly. And so, but then it made me realize I was like, you know, there's a saying, I'm rabbit trailing right now, by the way.
Yeah, I love it.
But you know, there's a saying that's like the people that annoy you the most, it's probably because you have a lot in common with them.
Ah, okay.
And so I realized I was like, I do have that jack of all trades thing, especially in knowledge.
Yeah.
I got a lot of scratch the surface stuff. So I could go up there and I could talk about like, hey, after college, like drove across the country, moved out west, lived in Montana for a little bit, worked in restaurants.
You could talk about how you would answer that question for 4 hours.
There you go. Well, by the time I'd be like, anyway, that brings me to, and they'd be like, that's 4 hours, Mr. Cavin, here's your $1 million.
Here's your $1 million. And then you'd be like, okay, but let me just finish.
Exactly. I'd be angry that I wouldn't be able to finish what I was saying.
I'll give you the money back. Just I need to tell you this one other thing.
I don't like to be interrupted.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've said this a million times before. I feel like I know you so well because you are the exact same person as my wife.
Oh, that is true. We have said that before.
You guys are very similar. Okay. We're watching Devil Wears Prada.
Part 2. Where'd we leave off?
We left off with Stanley Tucci doing his Tooch over.
Mm-hmm.
He just gave Andy the old
Tooch touch.
The old Tooch touch.
Not the Tooch touch in Sex and the City. The guy when Carrie essentially kind of does this thing where she works at Vogue magazine.
Yeah.
That guy pulls
That
his
guy
pants
gives
down.
that guy gives her.
He tries to give her the tooch touch.
Yeah, he gives her the Tucci touch. This is the Tucci.
This is Tooch touching her up.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a little Tooch touch.
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
Tooch touch up.
Yeah, exactly. The Tooch touch up. Yeah.
That one was the Poochie Tucci.
You don't want that.
No,
that guy was the hey cookie.
Hey Cookie.
I hate that guy.
Oh man,
I hate him so much.
I'm so glad he's not in Devil Wears Prada.
Me too.
I would hate the movie then.
Yeah, you
I
would.
actively dislike the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Adrian Grenier is like, I just can't think of his character without thinking of Steve.
He's definitely got some Steve to him.
I don't even know
for sure
who you are.
I don't. What's up with these girls? I don't know about this magazine. Andy. Hey, Andy, I met this the other day. I met this lawyer with red hair. I know we're living together and I know that you just got out of college and I'm 48. But listen, I don't know. I met this. Maybe if we break up, I date this lawyer.
Okay, anyway, I was talking about my boss, Miranda Priestley. Hey, that's her name.
Hey, that's her name.
Miranda.
I want to have a baby with her. We're going to have a baby.
If we had more time than we knew what to do with, we should edit Steve into Devil Wears Prada as
my
Granny's
gosh,
character. And see if we could get a super cut going.
Dude, I would love that.
But we don't have that much time. Anyway, that's where we're at. We're going to do part 2. If you're following along at home, it's like 36 minutes in. Watch the next 35 minutes. We are going to come back.
Yep.
We're going to talk about the Devil Wears Prada part 2. We're going to dissect it. We're going to put it back together. And we're going to tell you why you're wearing chartreuse blue. Because I know.
Cerulean blue.
That's what I said.
Yep, you said
I know why you're wearing.
You know why?
Cerulean blue.
You think
I said chartreuse blue.
You think you did.
And what you don't know is that I started this podcast to say chartreuse blue, so that Stanley Tucci would touch me.
That's right. I thought of another name for the movie.
What is it?
The Demons Were Dockers. All right, take it away, Katie.
The Devil Wears Prada, directed by David Frankel. Andy, played by Anne Hathaway, is a recent college graduate with big dreams. Upon landing a job at prestigious Runway magazine, she finds herself the assistant to diabolical editor Miranda Priestley, played by Meryl Streep. Andy questions her ability to survive her grim tour as Miranda's whipping girl without getting scorched. And now, back to the boys.
And we're back.
Welcome back to the pod.
Welcome back to the pod.
Something's a little bit off, but I can't really tell.
I can't either. I feel we're on different sides of the couch.
That's right.
That's one thing. Yeah, we just feel a little freshened up.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a little. Maybe if you're watching a video, you
look nice.
Thank you. You look really handsome yourself.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey,
you've been getting into the fashion closet.
Oof. I got.
I'll tell you what.
Tooch took me in.
Yeah. Before this pod, you were looking a little bit frumpy and a bit of a fat ass.
Totally.
And after this, pod, you look like you're keeping it tight.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
No, we're wearing.
I'm down to a size 0. Yeah, we're wearing different clothes. All right. So,
Devil Wears Prada Part 2.
Yep.
What in the hell happened?
So we start with the great montage after she gets tooched up. We start with another amazing montage.
What's the song that's singing?
Oh God,
it's so good.
Oh, what is it?
It's so frustrating.
I'm gonna find the song. I already forget what it is.
Quick heads up: we were watching this. We watched the second part with Katie.
Yeah,
she was here to watch it with us, and she said that she had the CD. No, she had it on her iPod, the soundtrack on her iPod, and would jam it while she was walking.
Yes, New York. Yeah, totally. Yeah, which is like we were talking about this. Such a great way to like live in New York.
Yeah,
is to put on headphones.
Oh man!
But then to this soundtrack and walk around.
But some of the soundtrack in this movie is literally just like stock audio.
Yeah,
it's like I'm panicking, running, trying to find Harry Potter.
I will say, we did totally notice it was like, and just her scrambling around, being like, I gotta get 10 scarves.
Dead end here, dead end there. I'll call Mr. Eyebrow.
Wait, was the song was it Vogue? Was
Yes.
it Madonna? It was
Yeah, yeah.
Vogue. It's her walking. I can't believe I forgot that. If it's her walking through Chinatown, it's like.
Look around.
Now you're trying to tell me it's everywhere that you go.
My next door neighbor,
Go round.
his name is Doug Persichiti when I was growing up. So
Okay.
Doug Persichiti, if you're out there, he was like the kid in the neighborhood that like knew the speaking part from Vogue. You know?
The one like Ching Chung, Marilyn Monroe, Dietrich
Yeah.
and DiMaggio.
Yeah, and like, you know, all of us
On the
just
cover
knew,
of a
like, the singing
magazine.
parts, and then it would die down, and freaking Doug Persichiti
Dude.
would just stand up there. I don't even know if you're alive, Doug Persichiti, anymore, because this was like in first grade, and you would just come in with just the speaking part of Vogue as like a
Dude.
first grader and just crush it.
What a great thing. Like, what a great thing to have when you're a kid. Like,
Yeah.
something like that you're like, it's
Back pocket.
back pocket.
Yeah.
You're just like, I know I got this. I know that at the lunch table, at a
Mhm.
birthday party, I can break out the speaking part
Yeah.
of Vogue and everyone's like, he knows it.
And it comes in handy like 3 times in life,
Yeah.
but like 25 years later, someone will talk about it on a podcast. And
Yeah.
that's
That's the
all
third
that
time it
matters.
came in handy.
That's all that
There was
matters.
another time in high school.
Yeah.
Okay, so we start out. Andy is walking around to Vogue. We're seeing all her new fabulous outfits.
So fab.
So fab. And then and like she is now she goes back to the office
Yeah.
and the girls, like, everyone knows that Andy now. Oh, and Miranda was like,
Yeah.
Miranda gave her kind of the elevator eyes.
Yeah.
Like, Andy's back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that happens. She sees, she comes back and sees her friends,
Mhm.
her friend circle, and the same deal, like friends
Her
eating in a
friend, we
restaurant.
need to talk about
We need to talk about her friends. Let's talk
And her
about this
boyfriend.
scene. Okay, let's as I do the rough recap, earmark a few things we're going to talk about.
Okay.
One of them is her friends and
Her
her
friends.
boyfriend.
Yeah. There's also, forgive Cory, because there was so much that happened in this. There's like, this movie, a lot happens.
We said this earlier, like it's a tightly written movie and it goes by. Also, we didn't ever really define this, but we looked it up. It's called a comedy drama film. It's not a romantic comedy. It's a
okay.
comedy drama, but so much happens because it's like tightly written.
Yeah.
And there's
A
just,
dramedy?
It's kind of a dramedy.
Huh.
It's also based off a memoir, sort of,
Okay.
because it's based on that book. But yeah, so she sees her friends, and her friends are like, how's work? Whoa, look at you. But her friends are kind of supporting her. She gives out all these gifts to her friends, of just like seconds from the Tooch closet. And then her boyfriend is kind of side-eyeing it a little bit. And then her friends hide her phone from her when Miranda calls, which is a real jerk move. And then, so she does that, getting more into the job, going more into things, ends up, she has to go to all these parties to run errands for Miranda at like a moment's notice.
Yeah.
To like pick up things from designers, ends up meeting, heartthrob guy.
Eyebrows. He's got great eyebrows.
It's Simon. What is the actor's name?
Simon Cowell.
Simon Cowell. Anyway, she meets him. You can tell there's a little bit of he's like a big time journalist, and she's like,
she has like a man crush on his career.
She's a man crush on his career. You can tell he's got a lady crush on her. Something's a brew in there.
He is. Tucci's work tickled his fancy, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
He's like, but he's also like, you work for Miranda Priestley.
You're never gonna laugh.
You're never gonna laugh.
Totally.
Which is like challenge issued.
Exactly. Gauntlet thrown.
Andy
Givenchy gauntlet thrown.
Andy will pick up that gauntlet.
Absolutely.
How dare you, D'Artagnan?
Absolutely. So then, how dare you, D'Artagnan? So then, she's starting to work her way up, and then she is supposed to go to the star of Medellin's birthday party, her boyfriend's birthday party. She's supposed to go.
Gotta talk about her boyfriend.
I gotta talk about her boyfriend. Supposed to go to his birthday party, and like work is just hard and stuff. Miranda's constantly throwing her curveballs, and then Emily Blunt is has a terrible cold. She comes into a meeting, she's sneezing a lot, and Miranda's like, we can't have my other assistant carrying the plague around.
Yeah.
So she has to end up Andy has to stay late and has to essentially go to the Met Gala to be the other bug in Miranda Priestley's ear. They have to study these books.
Be Gary from Veep, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what she has to be as Gary from Veep. And then Emily makes a flub of some guy who's coming up,
like Senator and his wife.
Senator. Jacqueline. Well, no. There's the Jacqueline, who's the French fashion person that Miranda doesn't like. We meet them.
You said it was Ghislaine Maxwell.
I said that was Ghislaine Maxwell. I did. I was like, and Ghislaine Maxwell's here somewhere. Epstein is around this party. Yeah. But no, but the woman that looks like Ghislaine is there. She plays as you know, plays a part later in the movie. But then there's another, like a senator and some woman that he left his wife for. And Emily can't remember that.
Right.
Andy swoops in and is just like, that's so and so.
Yeah.
And then she ends up
going to Miranda's house.
Yeah. Basically Emily's like, thank you. And then she goes to Miranda's house and Miranda tells her,
I need you in Paris.
Yeah. I can't have somebody there.
There's one other thing that happened.
Oh yeah. I missed this big part. Yeah, go for it.
And that is, she gets tasked of dropping off the book at Miranda's place and she accidentally goes upstairs and sees them.
The twins. And her husband.
And then she sees Miranda and her husband like getting in a little fight. Mm-hmm. So the next day she goes to the office. Instead of like scolding her, Miranda basically just gives her an impossible task of getting the unpublished manuscript of Harry Potter and her dinner from Smith & Wollensky, which was really quality meats, by 3 p.m. So hilarity ensued. Hilarity and bumbling music ensued.
So much bumbling. So
yeah, like,
but she pulls it off.
This is like why I think there's a difference between romantic comedy and a dramatic comedy. Yeah. Because like in a romantic comedy, right, the second act, you are spending developing their relationship.
Right.
And you can't have a ton of stuff happening other than the two main characters watching their love blossom.
Right.
If you have a bunch of other shit happening, you're not going to care about their relationship. And when the conflict occurs at the end of the second act or third act, you're not going to really care.
Right. Like when Harry Met Sally, their friendship, their will they, won't they was blossoming the whole time.
The whole second act was them falling in love, having quirky, fun conversations and orgasming in Katz's Deli.
Exactly.
In this, since there's no romance at the focal point of this movie,
right,
you have so much other shit happening.
I mean, her career's blossoming, basically. Yeah. Her career and her will they, won't they of, is she going to succeed in this or not? Like that stuff's blossoming.
Yeah. So here are the things that I want to touch on.
Okay.
I want to go on record and officially retort what we said about this being a genius written movie.
Okay. Okay.
Great. I think there's some awful writing and great acting in this movie.
Yeah, I would say that.
I want to talk about her friends.
Yeah, I want to talk about her friends.
Her boyfriend.
Yep.
I want to talk about the guy. I want to spend a lot of time talking about the guy's eyebrows.
The actor's name, by the way, is Simon Baker, and the character's Christian Thompson.
Yeah, Christian Thompson's eyebrows. Yeah, they're perfect. They're like perfect little mountaintop poofs.
He's a very beautiful man.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting him on the pod.
You know, I
wouldn't mind sharing a sleeping bag.
He was the guy in The Mentalist.
Never seen that.
It was a TV show. It's not on anymore. Yeah, he was in The Mentalist. It was like a CBS TV show where it was, like he solves crimes by being
using his eyebrows.
Yeah, using his eyebrows. Exactly. He's like, no, don't thread them. You'll take my power. Okay. Yeah. So we talk about his eyebrows.
But I think the thing that we had just talked about how great the writing is, yada, yada, yada. And like, there is some really great writing. Those monologue scenes are incredible.
And the structure of the writing is doing the work of carrying the story along.
But then there was like a couple scenes where like she was like in a boardroom with like people, and like there was like the Stanley Tucci character, if you really listen to the dialogue, was like so poorly written, but he delivered it so well.
Yeah.
There's a testament to how incredible of an actor he is.
Absolutely. He's making things.
I know who it was. It was like the designer that she met at the party.
The bald dude who is
something like Hart.
He's supposed to be like a Zach Posen type or something like
Alistair Hart or something like that.
Yeah.
His lines were so flat.
Yeah.
I think one of them, he's like, duh. Like, I don't know how to deliver duh in a compelling way.
Well, there is it's when she shows up to the party and he's like, wow, look at that outfit. Leather, attenuated with a little bit of French on the side. And he's like, who designed that? And she's like, well, you did. And he just goes, duh. Which, to be fair to him and to pump up the tooch, pump up the tooch,
pump it up. Feel that bald head.
But like, that's a hard line to probably, like, it's written. It's like when you're writing, you would think like, this is what a sassy designer would say.
Right.
And probably when the guy's doing it, it just shows that it's kind of like, I mean, nobody talks like that.
Yeah.
But the Tooch makes those lines, like, when you're right, when you really look at what the Tooch is saying, it's not how a real person would talk, but he makes it work.
Yeah.
Very well.
Totally. Yeah. So we were like really hyped on the writing, and it's still like, man, this movie's still just so dang fun. Like,
yeah, it is.
I will excuse any like one note characters like that guy, like her boyfriend, which
dude, let's get into
what did he say? He was like, he said something about the pork or something like that. It's just like, or were you making fun of him when you said like,
no? Oh, I think I was making fun of that. Well, the thing that I was making fun of the pork thing, I made that up. But what I was saying was he does this thing where he's constantly like, he's a chef. And so anytime they show him the beginning of the scene, he's always just saying something chefy to let you know, also, this guy's in the trenches of restaurants.
Or he has like a French baker hat on.
Yeah, exactly. He might as well. I mean, but like every scene, he's just like, you can't believe this guy doesn't know how to get a fry crispy. Yeah. You got to squeeze the end of it. Like, it's just.
No, it's pronounced mortadelle.
Exactly.
Mortadelle.
Like he really does say, like, these French fries, we spent an entire semester on potatoes. And I mean, like, maybe you did. I didn't go to culinary school. Yeah. But like, it's things, I mean, you know me, I like cooking. I talk a lot about it. And I'm not a chef, but like they just have him. It's like they want to see. He talks like someone that like we don't know, right? That talks like that, and it's almost like you want to be like, this guy just came from the back table at a restaurant, just talking about Japanese steel with the other chefs,
right?
It's like, hey, that guy doesn't even hone his knives. He's always doing that. He's like a very flat character.
Yeah, he is, and not only is a flat character, he's an enormous baby. And he is unsupportive.
Yes.
And he and every single one of her friends are huge dicks.
They suck.
Assholes across the board.
They suck. There's the scene where she comes in, she's made up. I forget if they like make a little comment about how she's, dressing like she is now. But then she sits down and they kind of have some good friend time, and she just unpacks a swag
thousands
bag.
of dollars of swag bags, and that
gives her friend a $2,000 purse.
By the way, that's a really accurate scene, and this is like a humble brag about friends in New York, but like if you have friends when you live in New York, you have friends that oftentimes do really interesting shit.
Yeah,
and you're getting like a lot of swag. You're getting like invites to cool places. Like we have a friend, friend of the pod, Jackie, who is worked for ET.
Right.
She gets us into like a lot of cool parties.
She got me
a lot of cool parties.
Me and Kevin went to a release of a new Mountain Dew flavor hosted by the Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah. It's just like you get, and that's just because cool stuff happens. You got cool people with cool connections.
Doing like a very real New York thing.
Right.
My boss, Miranda Priestley, doesn't want this $2,000 bag.
Yeah.
I have all the cool clothes that I need because Tooch is constantly tooching me.
Dude, you and Katie and Kevin and a couple other friends of the pod got to come to, right before shutdown, got to come to a little party that I got to have that was all a cool New York thing. When we were able to cook a huge pork shoulder and then have. This is just going to be a humble brag.
Yeah, humble brag pod.
This is just New York brag, but we had $2,000 worth of caviar. Yeah. And I say that to be like, we never do that. It's because it was left over from a shoot.
My favorite part about that night is when all of us, after you feeding us, we all just talked about how awful of a friend you are and cut you down for your career successes.
Totally. Yeah. I did that. And then and then my boss called and was just asking if
we played hot potato with
my phone. My boss just wanted to know if you enjoyed the caviar.
Yeah.
I couldn't answer it.
Yeah, no. We threatened to open the phone and make fun of your boss.
Totally. It was that.
Who actually is Miranda Priestley.
Who actually, in real life, it actually is Miranda Priestley. Yeah, totally.
That's
yeah, I mean, that scene where they're throwing her phone around. And then I will say, okay, let's just say that does happen and people are being jerks. And listen, there are times where I haven't fully asserted myself and I've gone along with things that I later am like, maybe that was kind of mean.
Yeah.
So I feel like her friend just got the $2,000 purse. Maybe she did that. Then Andy gets on the phone and her friend is just like, kind of rolls her eyes to her boyfriend like, oh my God, look, she's on the phone now.
Yeah. Like,
what a bunch of jerks.
Yeah. It's like you need to squeeze the lemon to get some juice.
Yeah.
And like, if you want the $2,000 bag, let your fucking friend have a conversation with her boss.
Yeah, absolutely.
You sack of shit.
I know, totally. We said this last night. We were like, this in real life, it would be like her and her boyfriend are going to break up. And then if she stays at this job, it's going to just be like, yeah, those guys are my friends. I don't really see them that much. And then at some point she's going to realize like, those friends suck. I have new friends now. Yeah. And then she's going to the Hamptons with the Tooch.
Totally.
And he's just like, yeah, come out to this crazy party. I'll set you up with a new guy.
Yeah.
Totally.
Eyebrows will be there.
Yeah, eyebrows are going to be there.
There'll be a jar full of Molly. You can just lick my fingers dry.
Absolutely. There's going to be all these...
Spin around in circles in a nice pool.
There's going to be strung out models and Tooch is going to be dressing them in the living room. Totally. Yeah. Yeah, so her friends suck.
Her friends drive me crazy.
And let's get to her boyfriend. So she goes to essentially the Met Gala.
Which is called into the biggest party of the year.
One of the biggest parties in New York.
Yeah. And... a little shame on her for not like, you know, I've had to travel before and do work events on Katie's birthday.
Right.
And this one was last minute, sure. But I'm sure she could have communicated to him like, hey, leading up to this week is the Met Gala. Yeah. It's the biggest party for the year for us. I'm going to be busy and occupied.
Yeah.
I know that your birthday is on March 12th. Mm-hmm. Do you think we could celebrate it on March 21st? Or April 1st. Do you think we could go upstate April 1st?
Right.
You could show me the cool farms where you get your potatoes from.
Right. We could meet the pigs you're going to kill.
Yeah. That's my critique of her. Like you need to
totally
like be communicative, but for him to know that this was such a big event, and I know it sucks that she got pulled in and she's stressing that she's late. It's like, what a freaking baby.
Yeah.
Just sitting there watching TV. He's like watching like Jerry Springer reruns or something like that.
And she missed his party.
Yeah.
But then what a baby. She comes back and she's like, Nate, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And he does the freaking mope-a-dope. She walks in with a candle, you know, like he doesn't even give her the courtesy just to be like, hey, thanks for the cupcake.
Yeah.
I'm kind of not in the mood. He just like doesn't even smile. Not even a like, hey, it's good to see you. Just nothing.
He's got great puppy dog eyes.
He does.
Like sad dog eyes.
Totally.
And he just kind of looks at her. And then he says the shittiest thing.
Yes.
Like I think it would have been one thing for him to be like, hey, that really sucks. I'm not in the mood.
Yeah.
It's communication healthy.
Sure.
The next level would be like, hey, I'm just going to go to bed and like walk out and leave her there.
Right.
Like that's like a little bit of needle. But then to like walk in the room, to turn and look at her and go, you look beautiful.
Yeah.
And then walk into his room. It's just like, dude, get a life.
He sucks.
Get a freaking life.
You know.
You're telling me that like if you became like his goal is to become a successful celebrity chef.
Yeah.
And like, what would his life look like if he became like a good, powerful working chef?
Also, think about this. Not saying that you need to use people in your life, but also think about this. Your girlfriend is going through a very tough job. I know it's your birthday. I know you're upset. How about you support her now? And what if you can like cook at a party for Miranda Priestley?
Yeah.
Like you guys could partner somehow.
You know what that's called? It's called making lemonades out of lemons, Cory.
That's right. And as a chef, he should understand that.
Yeah. Lemon, water, sugar.
That's all he needs.
That's all it takes, Adrian.
Yeah. Instead, he's cutting his own hand and squeezing the lemons into it. What
was one of the lines he says? He's like, take care of that cut.
He goes, hey, take care of that finger. Hey, take care of that finger, man. I wish that there were so many scenes where he would just get more and more specific.
Yeah.
Just be like, this guy doesn't know the 5 mother sauces.
Dude, we need to, once again, a good project, but I think would kill on socials is if we edited out every single chef line that he has and just cut them.
My gosh.
Yeah.
We should totally do that. That's not that hard to do.
All right, I got write ourselves.
Write that down. Write that down. Also, you can do the one that I told you where when she walks into Emily Blunt and the other, like there's like a German secretary that is there too, or a German assistant, and they're making fun of her when she walks in looking all hot. And they just go, what?
Yeah.
I just want to edit in fart sounds. And every time Andy walks, it's like, and they're like, what?
I'm gonna text it to ourselves right now.
Okay.
Edit cook from Prada. We'll know what that means, right?
We'll know what that means.
Kevin's gonna be like, what the fuck? Ignore Kevin.
God, it took me 2 hours to blanch all those vegetables. Other thing that Katie brought up is a really good point is, okay, so she's leaving the Met Gala. On her way out, Christian Eyebrows comes in.
Yeah.
And which is also kind of funny the way that these things work where, you know, it's the same way that Sex and the City does it. It shows New York as just like a casual place where you see cool people, which does happen.
Yeah.
But it's just funny that he's just like casually showing up 2.5 hours late to the Met Gala.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, oh, sorry, I was downtown covering a big story. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what? Just get there. You're lucky you're invited.
Dude, that is so true.
But doesn't it just seem like he's just like, sorry, had dinner for a big scoop. The gala's still happening?
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Had to take out an important client.
Exactly. Totally.
Oh my God.
You're never going to believe it though. I'm so close to cracking the story on this racket downtown. How's the gala? But he does say like, hey, I forget what he's calling her. He keeps calling her Miranda Girl or something like that. But he's like, why don't you come in? He says like, one of your favorite writers is in here. I read your stuff. It's actually not half bad.
Yeah.
It kind of negging her a little bit, but being like, you got talent.
Right.
Why don't you come in here? I'll introduce you to this guy who's like a big editor. And she, she can tell that there's some other vibes going on.
Right.
But she kind of gives I don't know. And then she's like, I'll do it. And then she doubles back and says, I'm not going to do it. Katie brought up a great point where Katie was like, you're late for your boyfriend's birthday. You're already majorly late.
Yeah.
That is when you just go.
Yeah.
And if you're in a healthy relationship, you say, listen, first of all, like you said, I told you before, I'm going to be late. I'm really sorry. This is maybe the biggest break I'm going to get.
Yeah.
And I took the opportunity and I love you, but I just freaking met like the head of, and also I met the head of Deboning Magazine. He'd love to talk to you.
He'd love to talk to you about your extensive potato knowledge.
Anyway, but yeah, she brought up a great point. It's like, go.
Yeah. Go do that.
Meet the person.
Like if you are in a healthy relationship,
yes,
then you want what's best for your partner.
Right.
And like, if Katie had to cancel plans and like miss my birthday party, if there's anything in my life that would help her become like chase her passions and her dreams and what she wants to do, like that's a way better birthday present than hanging out with a bunch of negative Nancys.
Totally.
Giving them free crap. Like go follow your dreams. And if you're with the right person, they'll support that.
Absolutely.
Every time.
Yeah. It's also not like Andy's showing up at friend things all the time, like coked out from work, like hanging out with a bunch of models. She's just working late.
Yeah, and taking important phone calls.
Yeah, exactly.
And even her dad should understand when he's like, we got Chicago tickets.
I know.
They're really hard to get. No, they're not.
They're not
Go
hard
to TKTS and wait in line for 30 seconds.
Go to Today Tix. Just do it online.
Yeah. Kevin will probably be outside spinning a sign, selling you tickets.
Absolutely. Kevin will sneak you in the back. That's
oh my
fine.
Gosh.
Anyway, so yeah, that's some stuff going on there. let's talk about the position that she's in, where she's starting to do things right. She's bumbling like crazy, and then she's starting to do things right. And then she finds out she's going to have to scoop Emily and go to Paris.
Dude.
What do you think about that? That's a tough position to be put in.
I mean, I wouldn't know how to approach that. Like, obviously they did a good job with Emily's character. She only cares about Paris.
Emily in Paris.
That's why she's doing this job.
Yeah.
But Miranda like made it pretty clear, like, not only like will you lose this job, but I will scorch the earth from any publisher in this industry. You will not work in your field unless you come to Paris.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I think you just got to go to Emily and be like, I'm going to Paris.
Yeah.
You're going to hate me.
Yeah.
But this is what Miranda said, and this is what she threatened me with.
Yeah.
And so I feel really bad, but I'm going to do this.
Yeah. I think what would probably happen in that situation is Emily would be mad.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And it would probably come out of being let down, and it would come out of also her own insecurity of like, shoot, I screwed up and this is why it's happening. But like, you know how Miranda is.
Right.
Like, you know that it sucks. Miranda's manipulative. Miranda's vindictive.
Also, you dropped the ball at the Met Gala.
Absolutely.
And like Miranda, I don't care if you've been with her for 2 years. If you drop the ball, she's looking for she knows what she wants, and she wants the best. And you are just now a Charmeleon blue. Cerulean? Charmander blue?
Charmander blue. Is Charmander a Pokemon?
Yes.
I love that. I love that I got that. I think that's just a hard truth.
Yeah.
But you know what?
It's a tough position. I would love to hear like people who are like a lot more intelligent and socially intelligent explain how to handle that situation. Because I'm sure there's like there's probably like a best practices way.
You know, I'll say this. I would love to hear someone say that too, but I have been in a position where I was working at a place, and there was someone I was friends with, and we both applied for like a higher job.
Yeah.
And this person was very qualified. We were both doing really good work. And then
did you both know you were applying for the same job?
Yes, but not because we had talked about it. We just knew through the grapevine.
Okay.
We knew through the grapevine that, and it would also put us in the place where, you know, it would put us higher than the other one.
Okay.
And then before the job was announced, that person came to me. I just got a call at the end of the day one day, and it was that person. And he said, "Hey, I just want to let you know, I found out like I'm going to get this job, and I wanted you to hear it from me. Obviously, you know, I love working with you, and I think, you know, your work is great and stuff, but like, I wanted you to hear it from me, and I just want you to know, like, you know, it's how it goes, but I don't want there to be anything weird between us, stuff like that." And it was great. Yeah. And, you know, hearing that handled from like, if Andy would have gone to Emily in that situation, it's like, I think that's the bigger thing, right? Is to do that. I really appreciated it when that person did that. I thought it was great.
That's a good way of handling it.
Yeah. I did tell him, I was like, you will never work for any other publication. Trust me, I will drag your name through the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I'm looking up some.
Are you looking up the spoken word parts to Vogue magazine so you can compete with Doug Persichiti?
Totally. No, I'm looking for some good like trivia.
Oh.
Let's see. I wish that we'll have to see if we can maybe put up the Anna Wintour David Letterman thing.
I would love to see that.
Yeah. I mean, one thing it says, so when they were writing this, when it became a bestseller upon publication, that's her book, elements of the plot were incorporated into the screenplay. Most took their inspiration from Ben Stiller in Zoolander and primarily satirized the fashion industry. But But I guess that like,
wait, can you explain what you just read? The author of the memoir took her inspiration from Derek Zoolander?
Hang on.
Because
hang on. No,
that's a big stretch. I always thought that this movie was about Anna Wintour. And if it's really about Derek Zoolander?
No, hang on. Keep
Mugatu? What is this? A school for ants?
Dude, I wish that they did that.
We need to do Zoolander, dude. That's a funny movie.
Work on a screenplay started promptly before Weisberger had even finished her work. When it became a bestseller upon publication, elements of the plot were incorporated into the screenplay in progress. Most took their inspiration from the 2001 Ben Stiller film Zoolander.
Who's most? Is that the author?
No. I think that just people. Hold on.
Okay.
Primarily satirized the fashion industry, but it was still not ready to film. Elizabeth Gabler, later head of production at Fox, noted that the finished novel did not have a complete narrative since there wasn't a strong third act in the book. We need to invent that. I think they're just saying that like at that time, people were just satirizing the fashion
Got
industry.
it.
Like
so
Zoolander.
Most isn't everyone. Like,
yes. And they were
got it.
They were saying, no, we need to
crisis averted. Holy cow. I love Zoolander.
I love it.
If you were telling me that this movie was about La Tigra and Ferrari,
dude,
and Blue Steel.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
that movie
No.
is so funny.
But I do think that kind of says like this movie more than Zoolander, more than a lot of other fashion things. Like this movie was trying to kind of get it right.
Yeah.
Of like what the fashion industry was like. And Sex and the City probably did it a little bit with Carrie's cookie line or storyline. But this movie was trying to get it right in a Hollywood way.
Got it. Yeah. That makes sense.
Egg cookie.
Egg cookie.
Hate that guy.
Dude, maybe he's a chef too, or he's a baker, and that's it. That's their way of saying that he works at Levon Bakery. Egg cookie.
Egg cookie. Hey, I will say this. Okay, you brought this up.
Oh no.
You brought it up before we'd even watched it.
Okay.
I think from just what you remembered. There's so many fat shaming jokes in this, and there's so many in the second.
So
many
in the second. It's insane.
So many in the second act, right?
But Katie said she lost a bunch of weight, like from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. She like lost a ton of weight.
Wait, that's not just them doing like different outfits. She actually lost weight.
I don't know. It's hard for me to tell the sizes of people.
Right.
It's like, like when you're like our age now and there's like kids and you're like, I'm not sure if you're like 5 or 6 or 10. Like you don't really know.
Yeah.
Since I'm so tall, I feel that way with height. Like I have no idea how tall anyone is that's less than me. And also I'm way more than most people because I'm so tall. Mm-hmm. Same thing with like weight. I have no idea what anyone weighs.
Okay.
I know what I weigh, but like if it's less than me, then I don't know. And I can't tell the difference. Does that make sense?
That totally makes sense. I mean, height makes so much difference in weight, and like I don't know, I have no idea how much you weigh.
Yeah. And
I know how much I weigh, but I also think I weigh totally different than someone who's my height because we just have different body makeups. Yeah. Well, so there's a lot of fat jokes in it, but basically I think the producers or the directors had Eileen McKenna, the woman that wrote it, they had her take out a lot of the meanness from Miranda.
That's interesting.
Well, but then when Meryl Streep got cast, they added it back in because I think she was so good at doing it. And she said her main influence for the insults in the dialogue was Don Rickles. The writer said that so that's like all the stuff that Stanley Tucci is saying. And all the stuff that Streep is saying, it's like coming from like a Don Rickles roasting kind of thing. And they put the meanness back in.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do love the scene where like, it's like, I don't know what like you would call the style of the scene. Mm-hmm. It's like Tucci is explaining to Andy what is going to happen when Miranda watches, like a new collection. And he's like, 1 nod means yes. 2 nods means like disaster. Like an eye roll means they missed it, and like a pursing the lips.
Right. It's over.
Yeah. And like he's telling her that before, but then we watch it occur as he's telling her that. Mm-hmm. And That shit's fun.
Yeah, totally.
It's like when people clap in songs. I love that. Don't know what it's called, but when you have like good clapping.
Do you mean just like part of the music when they just clap?
Yeah.
I think it's just called claps.
It could be, but whatever that is, it's. I love a good clap in a song.
Can you name a song that has a good clap?
Don't put me on the spot like that.
I'm trying to think if My Sharona does.
No, but as soon as we're done, I'll just look up like top clapping songs.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna try to think of one. Okay. There's also something they said in the writing.
Maybe Cold Hard Bitch.
What song is that?
By Jet. Is that the
only song I know by Jet is "Are You Gonna Be My Girl?" I said 1, 2, 3. What you got?
Is there clapping in that song?
I'm not sure. Jet seems like a clapping.
I just know when I hear clapping in songs, I get really into it.
It seems like there's got to be clapping in a Bruce Springsteen song. Yeah.
Choral clapping.
What's that?
I'm just putting musical words together and hoping something sticks.
Okay, hang on. Two things. Two things. One, they put a lot of thought into the writing and had the most discussions about Andrea's boyfriend, Nate. She likened his role in the story to that usually played by a male protagonist girlfriend or wife who regularly reminds him of his responsibility. So if the roles were flipped, she reminds that he's supposed to be kind of like a nagging wife. And then it says, we wanted to make sure he wasn't a pain in the ass, but is the person who is trying to say, is this who you want to be morally? So I think
swing and a miss.
Totally. Like, I think that he does come across as like, or I think it does come across that he's like, you're not being who you really are, but he is a jerk the way he does it.
I wonder how they could have done that differently. That is interesting, but like,
it's like he doesn't come across as a sympathetic moral compass.
Yeah. What is she doing that's immoral?
I think that he's saying, well, good point. I think that it is like you were this person that didn't care about fashion and you cared about.
What does that have to do with morals? That has to do with like.
Well, no, what I was going to say though is that he is like, you didn't care about fashion. You cared about like journalism. Now you're getting caught up in something that doesn't matter. You're getting caught up in something that is like fleeting. It's just fashion. You're like, what is fashion? It's not real work. Like, I think that's what he's saying.
I just think like I think it would have been so much more interesting if her moral compass was eroding, if she was like lying or stealing or cheating to get ahead. Mm-hmm. And he called her on that. Because then he would be that moral compass and it would be way more interesting. Instead, he's just like, you answer your phone when your boss calls and you go to the Met on my birthday. And he's just a bitch.
He is. No, you're right. I think there is a thing where he has this idealized thing of, it's not even just like you got this big shot and you're going to try to make it.
Yeah.
It's more that he has this thing where he's like, you're selling out who you really are, but like not in a way, but it's maybe like, why did you
learned about the fashion industry? And I think it's interesting. And she's not selling out. She's proving to herself that she can do the impossible. Mm-hmm. Like it is literally impossible to succeed as Miranda Priestley's assistant.
Totally. She says in the beginning of the movie, if I can just stick this out for 1 year, then I can go wherever I want to go.
And as of now, I don't remember how this movie ends, but as of now, all she is doing is doing a really hard job well and proving to a very opinionated person that she can do bomb ass work.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, go back and friggin' shred some kale, you boner.
Dude, we spent an entire spring semester on kale.
And I get it. I watched Hero Dreams of Sushi. I know that you can spend like 7 years learning how to cook rice.
Yeah, but that's if you're a Japanese sushi master. That's not if you're like working.
Squeezing a greasy bar potato. Like, talk like, come on. Tooting your own horn, how much you studied it. Go get a lot. Gosh, he's the biggest villain in any movie ever. He makes me feel worse about myself than Midsommar did.
Wow, that's saying something. Can you separate the art from the artist in this, does it make you feel even worse about Adrian Grenier, however you say his name, or does it? Or,
I told you I love. I watched Entourage.
Yeah,
I'll watch it again probably one day. Maybe not. I bet it didn't age super well, but I might hate Adrian Grenier now.
He really. Every time I think of his name, I think of Garnier Fructis, the shampoo. Adrian Garnier Fructis. He does play that kind of smarmy boyfriend. Like he does. He's like an Uncle Jesse type. Like it seems like when
Jesse ripped and he sucks.
Yeah, that's true. But he does. Yeah, that's true. But he has. It's like a sucky Uncle Jesse. It's like when she walks in, it seems like when she would walk in her new clothes, he would just be like, "Have mercy, Mama. Ooh, Mama, have mercy."
You know how like Uncle Jesse was obsessed with Elvis?
Yes.
Who would like an Uncle Jesse be obsessed with now? Like who is there like a
current Uncle Jesse, like Uncle Jesse 2022,
like the Elvis of like the 1990s? Or like, was there someone in pop culture in the last 30 years that like people?
How old is Uncle Jesse that you're talking about? What is his age?
Uncle Jesse in Full House is like 30s, and that took place in like the early 90s.
Would he?
And he's idolizing someone that was around in the 60s.
I mean, but does it make sense with time, or would this guy just be like into James Dean?
I think they'd be into like 6'9".
Would it be like Drake? It would be great if it was 6'9". Dude, he's got the crazy braids.
Yeah.
He just looks cool.
Just living with your nieces in San Francisco with like rainbow dreads.
Have you seen
tattoos?
Have you seen the show Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah.
You know the
show or the movie?
The show.
No, I've seen them.
No. Sorry, Reservation Dogs.
No,
Reservation Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs was the Tarantino movie. This is Reservation Dogs. No,
that's great. There's a guy. There's a dad in that is dressed like 6'9". It's so great.
Thank you so much for joining us on this adventure.
We're gonna finish the movie next time.
Yeah, we are gonna finish The Devil Wears Prada.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna come back with some more hot takes. We're probably gonna talk more about how much we hate the boyfriend, how much we love the eyebrows.
That's right.
And other wild shit like getting tooched.
Get tooched.
Later, taters.
Later, taters. We spent an entire semester on taters.
The Bradshaw Boys stars Cory Cavin, Kevin James Doyle, and Jon Sieber. The show is produced by me, Jeremy Balon, and narrated by Katie Sieber. This podcast is part of the Seltzer Kings Network. Check out all their great podcasts at seltzerkings.com. You can find the boys on their socials at The Bradshaw Boys or on their website at bradshawboys.com. And as always, if you see them in the street, tip your glass. Thanks for listening.